Hello, welcome to Retech. I've got another project on the go. You might be able to see it here, but I must be a little obsessed with these things. It's a 520 ST FM. This one's in rather dire need of a restoration, but I've literally just picked it up. And all I want to do with it is basically see if it's going to run, see if it has any issues, and then I'll restore the machine a little later because I want to just try something a little bit different. So there will be a restoration video on this machine and another one that I'm doing at the moment, but all I want to do with this is to try and get it to run properly, hope the MIDI ports work, and it puts out a decent display on this screen here, and then just try out a few games that I can find. And the reason for that is because there's quite a few games for the Atari ST that require or have the option for using MIDI, and so the output on it's not through your TV or your speakers or your monitor, it's through a MIDI keyboard or something similar. Now I've got a Sound Canvas which should be quite good for this, but I really want to see if it'll work through different keyboards. So there's the plan. So let's kind of have a look at how it's going to work, because at the moment I don't know if this is going to run, this is going to work, this is going to do anything. I've literally just picked it up. It's very yellowed. It's got very low serial number on it as well, so it's in the kind of thousands or early thousands, I believe. Let's check on here. No, it's 000997, so it's quite an early STFM. Now it would be nice to get it working and back to its original, or as original as possible, condition. Now I know this keyboard's never going to come up brilliant, but I can kind of get around that because I do have another really good bright keyboard, and I know that this case will almost certainly not come up to its original grey colour because it's very heavily stained. So I might have to think about how I'm going to do that. I might do it the way I did it in the past, but anyway, the whole point is really, before I even go anywhere near that, is to see if this machine will run. So let's have a quick look at that. I'm going to grab some cables, going to plug it in, find a mouse that works with it, and we'll go from there. But before we even do that, I've just picked up this mouse, and you can see the difference in colour. And this mouse hasn't been restored. That's roughly the colour it should be. I mean, it probably does need, it's got some marks on it, so it does need restoring. But this is what I was kind of getting to. This machine will probably never come back to being anywhere close to that colour, but I'm going to give it a try because it would be nice. But if you look on the bottom, it's almost the correct colour, so you can tell that this machine really hasn't been messed around with too much. So cables, and we'll get it plugged in. Okay, so I've cabled the machine up. Now let's just see if it works. So it looks like it's going to, so far, touch wood. It's got the red LEDs on the case as well, so they seem to be working the way they should. I'm hoping that in a second or so you'll get the normal GEM desktop screen or the TOS screen. So give it a minute or so, because it does do a little bit of hunting for the software or the disk to load, because it basically looks to auto load. Anyone who's used one of these before or has one will know about these things, so we're just going to give it a minute. There we go, and it does seem to be okay. So all it needs really to do is to grab a disc. Let's get it running now. There's one disc which came with the Ataris in the pack. I think it was Bomb Jack. I believe it has a MIDI output on it as well. So I'm going to grab that, and what I'm going to do is then connect it across to my keyboard, and then we'll see if it plays, if it works. I'll just hopefully it'll do what it needs to do. I'll use a Yamaha keyboard first, because it's got one of the most kind of common sound chips in it, especially for these older games. So there's the plan. So it looks like this might be a go. This might be a good machine to restore. So let's grab a MIDI cable and a keyboard and Bomb Jack, and we'll put Bomb Jack on first without anything connected, just to hear what the sound's like. Alright, so the plan is to pop the disc in, do a full reset of the machine, and I found my first issue, which the reset key doesn't work. Okay, so let's try it again. I'm guessing while I'm waiting, I'm just going to have a little bit of a drink. Okay, so 2 is Bomb Jack. And we'll put some volume on as well, just so you can hear what it sounds like. Let's just knock the volume down a little bit so you can hear it. There we go. Might need to grab a joystick as well, but I'm not interested in that at the moment. I'm just trying to figure out if this is going to work through a keyboard. It takes a little bit of time to load, so we're just going to give it a minute. I know kind of watching something load from disk isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but you know, it's the way it was back then. Not sure what to do with this machine yet. I think I might restore it and then max it out a little bit. Basically just add some more memory to it. Maybe see if I can do something with the speed on it. I don't know yet, because I've got some other Ataris which I've already kind of maxed out a little bit. So the only options on this is for music on and off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to link this up to a keyboard. You can tell by the sound it's not too bad. It's still certainly not as bad as some 8-bit era machines, but I think that's one of the major things that let the Ataris down originally, was its sound chip. It's the AY sound chip, the one that's used in a lot of 8-bit machines, including the ZX Spectrum 128. And really the SID in the 64 really does beat this almost certainly hands down, which is a shame because it's such a good machine and it could have done with that extra kind of boost from having a better sound chip, but again cost conscious and also quick and easy to install, because it had been done so many times that how to integrate that sound chip into a computer was kind of fairly easy to do at the time. So let's get it wired up. Right, okay, so as you can see here, it's quite a chunky old synthesizer. I've just put it on its side for now, just so you can get it working. What we're going to do is we're going to turn the volume down on this, and we're just going to turn this on and then see if it works. It's meant to come through MIDI. Bomb Jack's meant to have a MIDI channel to come through, so it's going to sound a bit odd because obviously there's nothing been preset on this keyboard to make it work. So here we go. Kind of worked. Let's just change it to a piano. Doesn't quite match it. There you go, organ. There we go. It's a bit more like it. As you can see, it's perfectly doing it. As you can see, it works really well. The only thing is, it's not. There we go. A bit more like a church hall. Now that's kind of more the way I think it was set up. So if we go back to the original, so we'll knock the volume down on this, and then we'll go back onto here. You can hear the chipset has got more of a raspy kind of electronic kind of tonal sound. Now this isn't probably the best synthesizer to use it with anyway, but it gives you an idea of what you can do. So it's not bad at all, but I think we can do better, because I think this really needs a different tonal range. I think that's more like it. There we go, that's with this on its own, and it seems alright actually. It's certainly a lot more pleasing than what's coming out of the speaker on here, and obviously you can adjust the sound as you need as well, and if you really want to, you can play along. So it's a lot nicer, it's a lot nicer. So we'll just try another one. Right, okay, so yeah, this is actually take 2 of this, because just after I did the keyboard with the Atari playing this bomb jack, basically my mic gave up, so I had to go and quickly buy a new one, because it was the only USB-C mic or receiver that I had. So that's why might look slightly different to yesterday. But what you've just seen is the keyboard running bomb jack, basically via the Amiga and the MIDI system. So now I've just basically got this, just to give you another idea of something else you can do. This is a Roland Sound Canvas SC33, and it's quite a good system. Now, rather than using the Yamaha sound chip, this one, I'm going to try this one out, because this one has true instruments. So basically the way the piano should be sounding, instead of what you're hearing here, which is this. It's kind of buzzy 8-bit kind of sound. Now, the one thing with the Amiga is that it will put out true MIDI representations, because it's got built-in MIDI ports. It does actually do a very good job of converting the sound patterns through MIDI, so you get a very accurate representation. Now, the Yamaha one still sounded a little bit on the flat side. It wasn't brilliant. You could change, the tones and the tunes and the instruments and basically get it a little bit better. But I'm just going to show you this. Now, this is running this theme tune. Now, I've got it through headphones. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the mic down there and show you it through the mic, because I haven't set any speakers up on it. This is going to be directly from output from the headphones to the microphone. Okay, so it might sound a little different, but it's going to be a very close representation of what your ears will hear. Okay. So it's very different to what you hear through the Yamaha keyboard. The Sound Canvas, the Roland Sound Canvas, whether it's a 33 or an 88 and so on, runs sounds very, very well for these machines, and it's very, very clear and very close to what the sound should be. So a piano will sound like a piano, an oboe will sound like an oboe, and so on, and the drums will sound like drums. And that really does change the way the Atari ST sounds. It changes everything. It changes the quality of the games, the quality of the music, and then you're looking at what is almost, in fact, no, it's better than Amiga quality because it's using a proper sound system rather than the Amiga's very good sound generator, but it's still not a patch on something that's dedicated, such as the Sound Canvas and a good keyboard and basically anything else that you might want to put this through. It's going to be much, much better representation of a piano or an oboe or a flute or a drum kit or whatever than the Amiga could ever do. But the Amiga was very, very good at its sound chip. In fact, Commodores in general had very, very good sound chips from the 64 onwards, and the 64 puts the ST to shame in terms of sound that they can produce. But I would rather listen to something that's very close and very clear and very clean compared to your kind of almost 8-bitty sound oscillator style chips that they used in micros at the time. So yeah, the ST has one clear advantage, and the ST is really very, very quickly, in fact it's very, very quickly indeed, become the favorite micro, the favorite computer that I have because of its capabilities. It's not the best graphically, it's not the best onboard sound, it doesn't have the biggest memory, it doesn't have the best quality keyboard. The plastics are awful, especially when they get to this age, but in general though, it's very, very good. The quality of the sound you can produce via its MIDI ports and what it can do kind of outshines most other computers of the era. So yeah, this is just a very quick video of basically what you can do to change the sound on one of these machines, on an Atari ST, whether it's the original 520, the ST, the STE, the STFM, and so on, or even, to be honest, the Falcon as well, because this kind of sound system, or even a good keyboard, is going to basically hands down beat most of the onboard sound hardware that these micros and that had. It's only later when PCs kind of took over with their dedicated sound cards did they actually start competing with dedicated sound systems like this Roland SC33 or the 88 or the 55 and so on. So yeah, this is going to be a year for the Atari. This is where the Atari will shine, and it always has shone. But it's going to be a machine that's going to hit the spotlight more than it has ever done in maybe the last decade or so. Okay, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. There's going to be more to come, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.